Life is not measured by the number of breaths we take, but by the moments that take our breath away. Humans are born with a finite number of breaths. Every heartbeat, every inhalation and exhalation is like a grain of sand quietly falling through the hourglass of life. Yet, the value of a human life has never been about how long we exist, but about how we lived during that brief span. A century-long life of meaningless, repetitive days can be poorer than a short life filled with moments that make the soul shine. There are moments in life when time seems to stand still. It could be the first time we catch the eyes of the one we love, a warm embrace after long days apart, the innocent laughter of a child, or the moment of standing before a natural landscape so vast that we feel our own tiny yet beautiful presence. Those moments are like flashes of lightning in the night sky, brief yet powerful enough to be etched into our memory forever. Many spend their entire lives chasing numbers, bank account balances, accumulated possessions, achievements earned, or praise received from others. They are so busy that they forget life is not a race to see who runs fastest, but a journey to experience the beauty of every step. A person can own a majestic castle, but still feel empty if their heart has never been moved by love, gratitude, and sharing. Worrying about tomorrow or regretting yesterday, we imprison ourselves in a cage of endless thoughts, missing the most precious gift life bestows upon us, the present moment. Happiness is not a destination at the end of the road, where we think we can only smile once we have achieved something. Happiness is found in the small things quietly surrounding us. A peaceful morning, a warm cup of coffee, a timely word of encouragement, or an afternoon spent quietly watching the sunset. The moments that take our breath away do not have to be monumental events that shake the world. Sometimes, they are simply ordinary things that touch the deepest corners of the soul. A single act of forgiveness can erase years of suffering. A moment of courage to step out of our comfort zone can open up a whole new horizon. A failure met with resilience can become the most beautiful chapter in our life story. Life is like a book, and each day is a page being written. When we flip back to the final pages, what we remember most will not be how many times we breathed, how many hours we worked, or how much money we made. What remains are the tears of joy, the sincere laughter, the love we gave away, the challenges we overcame, and the footprints we left in the hearts of others. Do not simply exist like a leaf drifting down a stream. Live like a flame that shines bright, warms others, and leaves an imprint on this world. Love deeply, dream big, experience bravely, and cherish every single moment you have. Because at the end of the journey, the true value of life lies not in the years we lived, but in the moments that made us feel truly alive. Life doesn't have to be perfect to be wonderful. Annette Funicello. From birth, humans carry a deep-seated yearning for perfection. Yet, the more we chase the perfect image of our own creation, the easier it is to lose the joy of what already exists. We constantly search for the ideal job, a love free from pain, a flawless body, and a life without any mistakes. Perfection is often like a desert mirage. The harder we try to reach it, the further it recedes, leaving us exhausted in pursuit of something that does not exist. In truth, the most genuine beauty of life is composed of imperfect pieces. A diamond can only shine after enduring millions of years of pressure deep within the earth. A mighty tree cannot grow tall without weathering rainstorms and gales. In the same way, we do not grow through easy times, but through falls, tears, and lessons deeply etched by the hardships we have survived. Comparing our own lives with the polished versions of others, we see their smiles, but not their sleepless nights. We see their success, but have no idea how many times they failed. It is this very comparison that makes many feel not good enough, not successful enough, and not happy enough. Yet, the truth is that every life has its silent battles, invisible to the naked eye. A painting is not priceless because it lacks flawed brushstrokes, but because of the emotion and story woven into every line. A piece of music touches the listener's heart, not because every note is flawless, but because it carries the artist's sincere vibrations. Similarly, a life worth living is not one without scratches, but one with the courage to transform those scars into the defining lines of a unique masterpiece. Happiness does not lie in waiting for the day everything becomes perfect before we start enjoying it. If we only allow ourselves to smile when we have enough money, status, recognition, or a future free of uncertainty, we will spend most of our lives waiting. Life is like a long journey under an ever-changing sky. There are bright, sunny days, but also days shrouded in rain. It is the interplay of light and shadow that gives depth and meaning to this journey. Mistakes are not proof of weakness, but signs that you dared to try, to walk, and to live. Failures are not periods. They are commas that add depth to our life story. A broken heart can still learn to love. A tired soul can still find peace. Hard days will eventually become chapters that help you understand the latent strength within yourself. Learn to love life even when things do not go as planned. Be grateful for what you have instead of constantly dwelling on what you lack. Allow yourself to make mistakes, to be weak, to start over, and to grow in your own way. Because a beautiful garden is not one without withered leaves, but a place where green leaves, blooming flowers, and fallen petals together create the beauty of nature. What makes life wonderful is not having a flawless journey, but knowing how to smile amidst our shortcomings, finding light in dark days, and cherishing every moment we are alive. For it is our imperfections that write the unique story of each individual, a story more authentic, profound, and valuable than any kind of perfection. Do the best you can until you know better. Then, when you know better, do better. Life is a journey of continuous learning where we are not born with perfect understanding, but grow day by day through experiences, mistakes, and invaluable lessons. So many people carry regrets about past decisions. They look back at their former selves through the eyes of the present and wonder, why was I so naive back then? Or why didn't I choose differently? But that is an unfair judgment. A child cannot be blamed for not knowing things that only adults understand. Much like someone walking through a thick fog, they can only choose their path based on what they can see at that moment. Mistakes are not proof of failure, but footprints marking the path of growth. A blacksmith cannot forge a sharp sword with the very first strike of the hammer. Metal must be tempered in hot flames, endure heavy blows, and undergo patient grinding to become a finished masterpiece. We are the same. The challenges, the stumbles, and the flawed decisions are the fire that refines the wisdom within us. Waiting until we have enough knowledge, confidence, or perfect conditions before taking action. They fear making mistakes, being judged, and failing. But the paradox of life is that understanding does not precede action. It is usually born from the very act of daring to take a step. A person learning to swim cannot understand the water just by standing on the shore and watching. Someone wishing to conquer a mountain peak cannot know all the hardships ahead without ever taking that first step onto the rocky trail. The most important thing is not to always be right, but to always be willing to change when we gain greater awareness. A rigid mind views changing its perspective as a sign of weakness, but a mature soul understands that adjusting oneself is a true expression of wisdom. A healthy tree is one that bends with the wind to avoid breaking in a storm. We too need the flexibility to accept new truths and improve ourselves every day. True progress does not demand that you become perfect overnight. It is like the dawn, appearing after a long night, gradual rays of light, slowly dispelling the darkness until the entire sky is radiant. Every book you read, every conversation you have, and every failure you face is a ray of light that expands your vision and deepens your understanding. Forgive your former self, for they fought with the knowledge and capacity they possessed at the time. At the same time, do not let that forgiveness become an excuse to stop growing. When life offers you a new perspective, a new lesson, and a new truth, it is your responsibility to turn that understanding into better actions. Strive to do better today than yesterday, and aim to be wiser tomorrow than today. Life is not a contest to prove we have never made mistakes, but a journey of continuous correction, learning, and rising. A great person is not one who always makes perfect choices, but one who knows how to turn imperfect choices into foundations for growth. Do your absolute best with what you know today, and when tomorrow brings you deeper understanding, use that very light to live better, love more, and become a better version of yourself. There is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. Hamlet. The world we live in is like a giant mirror, reflecting what exists within the mind of each person. When the same rain falls, one person might feel it is a gloomy day, ruining all plans, while another sees the beauty of water droplets dancing on the eaves and feels the peace in the sound of nature. The rain itself does not change. The difference lies in how each person chooses to perceive it. Chính góc nhìn của chúng ta đã tô màu cho bức tranh cuộc sống, labeling everything that happens to us as either good or bad. When we succeed, we call it luck and happiness. When we fail, we see it as suffering and misfortune. Yet time often proves that the things that once brought us to tears become our most precious lessons, while what makes us rejoice today can sometimes lead to unexpected difficulties tomorrow. Life is not always divided into black and white. It is like a painting with countless shades, where the meaning of each hue depends on how we perceive it. Thoughts possess immense power in shaping human emotions and behavior. A person who always views failure as a dead end will easily get trapped in disappointment and fear. Conversely, one who views failure as a strict teacher will find the motivation to stand up and keep going. An obstacle on the road can be a barrier that stops the pessimist, but to the persistent, it can become a stepping stone to climb higher. However, changing our perspective does not mean denying pain or pretending that all difficulties are easy. A wound still needs time to heal, and a loss is still worthy of grief. True positivity is not wearing a smiling mask while the heart is breaking, but the ability to find a tiny ray of light even in the darkest hours. Like a garden, every thought is a seed sown into the soil of the soul. Do not rush to conclude that an event happening to you is entirely good or entirely bad. But if we cultivate the seeds of gratitude, hope, and courage, our inner garden will bloom with flowers that help us find peace amidst life's storms. Many spend too much energy trying to control external events, forgetting there is a world they always have the power to master the world within their mind. We cannot stop the wind from blowing. We cannot turn back time, nor can we change the past, but we can adjust the sails of our thoughts to guide the ship of our life in a different direction. The greatest adversities sometimes lie not in our circumstances, but in how we interpret them. A small key can unlock a dark room, and a right thought can open the door to peace and maturity. By changing our view, we can discover hidden opportunities within challenges and find strength even in our weakest moments. Do not rush to conclude that an event happening to you is entirely good or entirely bad. Give yourself time to view it from different angles. Life is like a book with chapters of joy and sadness interwoven. It is how we read and understand each page that decides the meaning of the entire story. By mastering our thoughts, we do not just change how we feel about the world, but we transform the very world we live in. Your present circumstances don't determine where you can go. They merely determine where you start. Nido Qubein. Every person begins life standing in a different place. Some are born into favorable conditions, surrounded by abundance and provided with smooth paths to walk on. Yet others start their journey from the dark corners of hardship, scarcity, and struggle. However, where we begin is not necessarily where we must end. Circumstances are merely the first line in the book of life. The subsequent pages are written by our own choices, attitudes, and persistence. Many often let their past or present conditions become an invisible cage that imprisons their dreams. They tell themselves they are not smart enough, lucky enough, wealthy enough, or lack the necessary connections to succeed. These limiting thoughts act like chains forged from fear and doubt, keeping the wings of potential from ever spreading wide. Yet, history has proven time and again that those who bring about great change are not always those with the best starting points, but those who refuse to let circumstances define their worth. Life is like a long-distance race. Not all runners stand at the same starting line. Some start closer to the finish line, while others must run a much longer distance to achieve what they desire. This may seem unfair, but starting differences cannot predict who will possess the most resilient will, who will learn the fastest, and who will keep advancing when others give up. The ultimate winner is not always the one who started with the greatest advantage, but the one who keeps moving forward, even when their feet are weary. Believing in our ability to change ourselves has a massive impact on the results we achieve. When a person believes their fate is sealed by circumstances, they lose the motivation to act. They become prisoners of the limitations constructed by their own minds. But when a person believes they can learn, improve, and grow, every difficulty becomes a lesson, and every failure becomes a step closer to the best version of themselves. A tiny seed buried under the cold soil might think darkness is its only world. Yet, in that very darkness, it quietly develops its roots, gathers strength, and awaits the day to rise up and greet the sun. We are no different. Difficult phases are not the end of hope, but can be the necessary time to build inner strength, patience, and character. The scariest thing is not starting from zero, but accepting standing still because we believe we cannot change. A person may be poor in material wealth, but rich in aspiration, lacking in experience, but rich in a learning spirit, failing many times, but still possessing the courage to stand up once more. It is these intangible qualities that are the true assets capable of transforming an entire life. Remember, the sturdy ancient tree of today was once a tiny seed in the ground. The vast ocean also begins with small drops of water. Every great achievement is built from the very first steps, whether they start on a rocky path or a smooth road. Circumstances may dictate the starting point, but will determines the direction. Discipline determines the speed, and endurance determines how far you will go. Life does not ask where you began. It will remember how you transcended your limits to become the person you always wished to be. You cannot do a kindness too soon, for you never know how soon it will be too late. Ralph Waldo Emerson. Human life is like a journey without a map, foretelling the final stop. We often think we have plenty of time to say words of love, to help someone, to forgive mistakes, or to perform an act of kindness, but time is a silent guest. It comes and goes, without knocking, without warning, and without waiting for anyone. There are doors that open only for an instant, and if we hesitate too long, we may never have the chance to cross them again. Procrastination often stems from the illusion that tomorrow is guaranteed, and that we can always do good at a more convenient time. We say, someday I will call my parents more. Someday I will apologize to the friend I hurt. Someday I will make time for the ones I love. But life does not operate on the promise of someday. There are sudden farewells, people who depart from our lives with words of love left unsaid, and opportunities to show kindness that vanish in the blink of an eye. A single raindrop may not realize its worth as it falls to the earth, but millions of them can nourish an entire green forest. A sincere smile can dispel the loneliness in the heart of someone going through dark times. A well-timed word of encouragement can be a lifeline that helps a despairing soul find faith again. The best things in life are not always grand acts that change the world. Sometimes they are just small gestures that appear at the exact moment someone needs them most. People often underestimate the power of kindness because we rarely see its immediate results. A seed sown in the earth will not bloom into a flower the very next day. It needs time to take root, push through the underground darkness, and reach for the light. Kindness is the same. Helping someone today can become their hope for tomorrow. Sincere advice can alter an important decision. A kindness we extend can create ripples that touch people we have never met. The greatest regret in life is not always what we did wrong, but often the good we could have done but chose not to. An apology withheld out of pride, a thank you forgotten in busyness, a hug withheld out of shyness, all can become voids in memory that time can never fill. The sun does not shine to be praised. The river does not flow to receive thanks. And a tree does not give shade to be remembered. The most beautiful things in nature always contribute in silence, for their essence is to bring life and peace. Humans, too, become nobler when we give without expecting anything in return. Each passing day is a gift from life, yet no one knows how many days remain in their box of time. Therefore, do not delay words of love, do not keep gratitude silent, and do not wait for a perfect moment to do what is right. Call your loved ones while you can still hear their voices. Help others while your hands still have strength. And forgive while your heart still has room to open. At the end of life, what remains is not the wealth we accumulated or the success others admired, but the imprints of love we left in the hearts of others. A truly meaningful life is not measured by how much we received, but by the good we managed to give before time says too late. Life is a journey that must be traveled, no matter how bad the roads and accommodations. Oliver Goldsmith, A Long Journey Through Ever-Shifting Lands, sunny fields, dark, foggy forests, steep cliffs that make our knees tremble, and arid deserts that weary the soul. But the true value of the journey lies not in whether the path is always smooth, but in whether we have the courage to keep moving forward when things get tough. People often wait for a perfect moment to begin or continue their journey. We tell ourselves we will pursue our dreams when we have more money, change ourselves when we have more time, or be happy once all our problems are solved. But the truth is, life never hands anyone a sky forever free of storms. If we do nothing but stand still, waiting for the clouds to clear, our entire life may pass by in that very wait. Difficult periods are like major storms on the ocean. A ship is not built to sit forever in a safe harbor. It is built to face the waves, strong winds, and uncharted seas. In the same way, we do not grow through days that are too easy. It is the failures, the wounds in our souls, and the seemingly insurmountable challenges that forge resilience, patience, and wisdom. When the road ahead is rocky, we easily doubt our abilities and wonder if our efforts are truly worthwhile. But remember, before a seed becomes a mighty tree, it must spend a long time buried in darkness. It does not view the darkness as its end, but as the environment to grow its roots, gather strength, and prepare to rise toward the sun. The difference between those who achieve success and those who give up is not that the former never faced difficulties. Both feel the pain, the disappointment, and the days of wanting to let go. The difference lies in the decision made after those moments. One chooses to stop and let adversity write the end of their story, while the other decides to grasp the pen of will and write the next unfinished chapter. Sometimes, the most crucial step in life is not a giant leap, but simply a small step taken on days when you have little strength left. There are mornings you do not feel strong, times you cannot see the light at the end of the tunnel. But the fact that you still wake up, still try, and still keep moving forward is a quiet victory in itself. Look at the rivers flowing through rocky mountains to understand the power of persistence. Water does not break a rock in a single collision, but through day-by-day persistence, it can carve deep canyons and alter the shape of an entire landscape. Human strength lies not in never falling, but in the capacity to rise once more every time life knocks us down. No one can choose where they begin, nor can anyone control all the storms that will appear on their path. Yet, we always have the right to choose our attitude in the face of adversity. We can let rough roads stop us, or turn the very stones on that path into a foundation to climb higher. When life becomes hard, do not be too quick to conclude that your road has come to an end. The darkest night will eventually give way to dawn, and the coldest winter must make way for spring. Keep walking, even if your steps are slow, even if the road is full of thorns, for every step forward in adversity is shaping a stronger version of you. In the end, what makes a life beautiful is not a storm-free journey, but the story of a person who never stopped moving forward despite walking through the greatest storms. Learn to appreciate what you have before time makes you appreciate what you had. John Spence. We often only realize the value of something when it is no longer present in our lives. While we still possess it, we easily take it for granted. Once it is gone, we begin to call it by the name of regret. Life, in that sense, is like a series of belated realizations where emotions often lag a step behind reality. The more familiar we are with something, the less we recognize its value. A warm home becomes ordinary until we have to live in loneliness. A person always by our side is taken for granted until a void appears. Simple conversations, daily meals, seemingly small check-ins, all of these only carry weight once they turn into memories. Appreciation is not a naturally persistent emotion, but a skill that must be cultivated in our awareness. When we live in a hurry, our minds are constantly pulled forward. Unreached goals, unfinished plans, unfulfilled desires. In the process, the present is forgotten, like a page turned over before it is even read. Above all, time does not stand still to wait for us to realize the value of what we have. It slips away quietly, without noise, without warning, and one day, when those familiar things are gone, the mind travels back to the past, trying to recover the moments that were once discounted. That is when the emotion of nostalgia emerges, a blend of love and regret. The sad thing is not just that we lost something, but that we were not present enough when it was still with us. Many live in a state of waiting for happiness, waiting for more money, waiting for a more stable job, waiting for a more perfect life. But in that waiting, they unwittingly miss the simple yet meaningful moments unfolding every day. If we slow down a little and look deeper into the present, we will realize that life is never short of things to cherish. It is just that our minds are too busy to notice them. A fleeting smile, a sincere word, a quiet afternoon, all can become precious memories if we are fully present in the moment. True appreciation does not come from the fear of loss, but from understanding that nothing lasts forever. It is the finitude of time that makes every experience valuable. A hug becomes deeper when we understand it cannot last infinitely. A word of love becomes more meaningful when we know it cannot be repeated countless times in the future. When people learn to live with full awareness of the present, they begin to change how they view life. Instead of only chasing what they do not yet have, they begin to see the beauty in what is already present. Instead of only looking for happiness in the future, they begin to feel it in the most ordinary things. It is not about waiting until something is gone to appreciate it, but learning to see life's value while it is happening. Because once time has passed, memory is but a faint reflection of what was once so clear. And then, appreciation is merely a belated echo of things we should have loved much more long ago. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius. Human life always operates within a flow that we cannot fully control. External events, the words of others, sudden shifts in circumstances, unannounced losses, or opportunities that come and go are all beyond our reach. But the strange thing is, even though we do not control the outside world, we still have the choice of how to react within our own minds. And it is precisely at the intersection of what happens and how we view it that true human strength is born, like a territory that only the individual has the right to govern. Two people can go through the exact same event, yet live in two entirely different worlds. One may view failure as a dead end, while another sees it as a necessary lesson. One can be deeply hurt by criticism, while another sees it as an opportunity to grow. The difference lies not in the world itself, but in how the world is interpreted in the mind. We are not directly affected by events, but by our interpretation of them. Between an external stimulus and our emotional response, there always exists an invisible gap, the space of awareness. Before realizing this, we often feel like victims of circumstance. Before realizing this, we often feel like victims of circumstance. They believe that anger comes from others, sadness from events, and insecurity from the outside world. But when they understand that the mind decides the meaning of every experience, they step into a higher awareness where they are no longer swept away by events, but stand firm in the flow of life. Human strength lies not in controlling every event, but in the ability to keep our inner self from being broken by them. A storm cannot change the course of a ship if the captain holds the wheel steady. Similarly, life's hardships cannot defeat a person if they learn to keep their mind steady in the face of adversity. This does not mean denying our emotions or pretending everything is fine. On the contrary, recognizing control over our mind allows us to face emotions more calmly. We can feel sad without being completely consumed by sadness. We can feel angry without letting it turn into actions that cause harm. We can experience pain, yet retain the clarity to choose our next step. Inner peace does not come from changing the world, but from changing how we respond to it. When people clearly understand the boundary between what can be controlled and what cannot, they begin to free themselves from much unnecessary suffering. In reality, most of our stress does not come from events, but from our resistance to them. We suffer not only because of what happened, but because we want it to be different. By accepting that some things are beyond our control, we do not become weak, but rather more free, because the energy once consumed by resisting reality is now transformed into the strength to adapt and grow. Realizing control over the mind is a profound transformation. It does not make life easier, but it makes us more resilient. In a constantly shifting world, a stable mind is the foundation of inner freedom. And when we learn to master our responses, we are no longer defined by what happens to us, but by who we choose to become in the face of what happens. If you are not willing to risk the unusual, you will have to settle for the ordinary. Rohn. Life constantly presents us with two quiet yet powerful choices: remaining in the comfort zone, where everything is familiar and predictable, or stepping out to face uncertainty. This statement is not just a reminder, but a profound psychological truth about how we grow or remain stagnant. Humans have a natural tendency to seek stability. Our minds are programmed to avoid risk, clinging to what is known, old habits, and safe environments. This makes us feel secure, but at the same time, silently limits our potential for growth. The familiar is like an invisible cage. Inside it, everything is predictable. Routine work, a familiar lifestyle, repetitive thoughts. There are few surprises and few risks, but that very safety gradually turns life into a flat plane. Without challenges, we also lose the opportunity to discover deeper versions of ourselves. Taking a risk is like opening a door to an unknown land. It may come with failure, mistakes, and even pain, yet only in those uncertain spaces do we truly learn to adapt, create, and transcend limits. A seed that does not dare to break its familiar shell will never become a tree. Growth always requires a certain level of breaking away from the old state, safe with good, and risk with dangerous. But reality is far more complex. Not all risks lead to loss, and not all safety leads to happiness. Sometimes, the most dangerous thing is not changing at all, for it traps us in a loop of mediocrity where there is no development, no breakthrough, and no real growth. The difference between an ordinary life and a profound one rarely lies in the starting point, but in the moments of choice. When standing at the crossroads of the familiar and the unknown, safety and challenge, good enough and potentially better, each decision silently shapes our future. Those who dare to step out of their comfort zone do not always succeed immediately, but they always have the chance to expand their own limits. Meanwhile, mediocrity does not arrive suddenly. It is built from countless small choices. Not trying something new today, not changing a habit tomorrow, staying in the exact same spot next year while hoping for a different outcome. Gradually, we get used to not advancing, and standing still becomes the default state. Risk aversion is one of the main reasons many lose their chance to grow. They do not lack ability, but rather the willingness to step past their own fears. But every great change in life begins with a single moment of courage, the moment we choose to believe in our ability rather than our fear. The key is not to take blind risks, but to understand that growth always comes with a degree of uncertainty. No one can understand their true capabilities without ever trying to push past their limits. No one can understand their true capabilities without ever trying to push past their limits. It is the daring to try that makes the difference between a limited life and a profound one. The question is not, is there a risk? But will you accept a life that never changes, never breaks through, and never surpasses who you are today? Because if you are not willing to trade the familiar for the chance to grow, then mediocrity is not something that happens to you. It is something you have unwittingly chosen